Two us, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome back to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
Today we are going to talk about the worst things to happen to us on set, so hopefully you can learn and avoid them. And I've actually got a list through of some other real examples from people on set. Aren't all actors, some various crew. Basically, just before Christmas, I posted, because they said, oh, look, here's some pretty shocking experiences I've had. Has anyone else, does anyone else want to share theirs? And it's a private group. And there was 186 comments.
Oh my God. Yeah, relatable.
It's like, oh, well, and each one was like, well, I see your problem and I raise you with mine. And I posted the one. It's like literally the worst experience. I'll go into a little bit again today, but full detail in episode 76. I've also got a fresh one. I don't think I've actually talked about this in any great detail on the podcast. I think I alluded to it in the past.
I have a couple, but not many. Not many to do with other people per se. I mean, I've been very fortunate with the amount of people. What about that
time? I know you're trying to be very nice and diplomatic, but there was a time where you actually got assaulted on set in the take.
I got assaulted.
You know when the guy hit you?
Oh yeah.
The other actor. That's not ideal. Because he kept doing it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. I can use that. Takes. We've spoken about that before, haven't we? Yeah. That's one of them.
I think that's... Because I remember at the time going, he what? Thinking I would have slapped him back, but anyway.
Yeah. But crew-wise and director-wise and working with all those sort of people, I can't really even think of a time where they've done anything,
right?
So I've been fortunate like that, but there are plenty of worst experiences that I have caused, or you've
caused.
Been
you're a danger.
Well, mostly caused to myself, to be honest. So
this is like the first bad experience. It's not the biggest, but it's one that I had early on coming back into acting. Believe it or not, up on the Gold Coast, there's a teenager in the 90s. Doing featured extra work and running amok and DJing on radio and everything. All my experiences were all amazing. It was great. It's part of what made me want to come back to acting, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, it was a student film because this is early on. I'm just getting my confidence back. I'm finally shaking off the corporate, you can't cry in a meeting types. Bottle all your feelings up. It's all about bringing them back up to the surface and playing with them as an actor. And I needed some work on my show reel that wasn't just me in a scene on by myself or talking to a reader.
Yep.
So with that preamble in mind, I went to this student, applied through this platform and went for an audition. And the first alarm bell was the fact that they were running quite late. There was like a room booked in this university and I've turned up and I could see a lot of others had turned up and it wasn't just all guys that looked like me. It was like there were kids, there were families. It's like everyone has been booked at the same time. I'm thinking this is really strange unless they're running really late. Anyway, and then I'm looking in the meeting room and like, oh, there's a meeting going on in there. So I'm waiting and we're all waiting and we're all looking, we're doing that thing. And then I look and I make eye contact with the guy in the meeting room and it twigged just at that moment. Oh my God, that's them. They're just having a chat. Everyone is waiting out here.
Yeah.
Sure enough, stands up, opens the door, comes straight to me because I made eye contact. I must have had my what the are you doing look.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're auditioning, blah, blah. I think, okay, come to me. It's all right. We'll do a little audition. I gave him audition. I gave him all the emotion he asked for and everything. He's like, great. Then it sent me the script, which was different to the original script.
Oh, no.
And with student films, I always like to see the final script, as in final script, because it gives you an idea of what you're in for, right?
Yeah.
And some of them, you just read it and just go, no way, mate. Not a chance.
Yeah.
But it was kind of intriguing, and I've looked at the script, it was very different. I'm like, that's a bit strange. Anyway, so still thinking I'll get a good 30 seconds out of it for the show reel because there's a great emotional monologue. Anyway, as it gets closer to shooting, I just get this random message. Oh, we're ready to come to your place. Can we shoot at your place? I'm like, okay, what? And this is when I was living in an apartment in Sydney. And I'm like, well, there's not a lot of room. Like, what exactly do you want to shoot? So he turns up with the talent playing my wife and two females that were over 18 playing younger children. And he was there with his DSLR. I'm like, okay, so no sound, no cameraman.
Oh, no.
What the? So we went through the scene. Then there was a bit of other toing and froing. Scripts kept changing. I'm thinking, now I'm like, okay, how the hell can I get out of this?
Yeah,
but I've committed and we're moving forward. And we filmed some stuff and I turn up again. This time it's in the university and it's in the nursing school actually, so we could shoot me in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
So one piece that was interesting is my children have changed. I've got one daughter now and one son. So I'm like, well, how does that work? With continuity, I'm having a chat to the DP, and the DP's like, "What were you filming? What do you mean? I wasn't there." And we can't put DSLR footage against the real camera I'm using. Like, it's not gonna.
Oh God!
So I don't know what that day was. So anyway, so
there's some random turned up to your house.
We're about to go through the scene, and I'm chatting to this guy who's going to be another actor in the scene. He said to me, "Oh yeah, I haven't done this before." So that's all right. So sort of held his hand a little bit, got him prepped. We did our line runs and all that, and then the director comes across and says, "Oh, I think I'll play this part." The guy goes, "Oh, okay," and just walks off. It's like, okay, what the hell? And then he kept doing the scene over and over. And fortunately, this was a moment where my eyes were closed. And I just remember going, if I could look at him, I would just burst out laughing. It was just crazy. It was crazy. Like, every scene was different. They struggled to get what they wanted, which is what he had told them.
Yeah.
And he's in there doing something different every time. And it was just getting creepier and crazier.
Yeah,
I got the hell out of there and I thought, I'm not coming back. That's it. You've got what you got. Make it work. I'm not coming back. Anyways, they sent me another script that was changed again.
What?
And then he said, we're going to, for the dream sequence, we're going to get a belly dancer in and we're going to film a music video. And is that okay if we do a music video? I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I just replied, also he shouted at one of the young female talent who's first time on set. So I pulled her aside and said, that's not on. I said to him, that's not on. And, put ourselves back together again.
Did he shout back at you?
No, I just said, look, mate, I just asked you a simple question. I didn't need you to talk to anyone like that. And I'm like, what the hell? So anyway, I sent an email, and 20 years of corporate, it was to the point. I didn't pull any punches either. Based on the performance based on what had happened on set, and I detailed what had happened.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a part of this production moving forward. And he responded in all caps, talking about how I'm ruining his vision, and I'll never work in the industry again. And then replied 5 minutes later with more expletives.
This was a student thing.
Student. So at a university film school, and had under the supervision of the dean and whoever was tutoring that particular semester's subjects. And what I did was, rather than engage with the idiot, because clearly this is just off the charts crazy. This is
something's going on,
and I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm like, I don't want to get emails again or whatever. So I forwarded it to the dean. I just said, FYI, thought you'd like to know what's going on in your film school. Bang.
Yeah, wow. Oh God, I want to know.
I got a phone call from the tutor the next day. So it had come down the line from the dean.
Yeah, and
she confided in me that she had felt unsafe at times with this guy. She had actually asked for a third person to be in a meeting that she has with him one-on-one about his work because he doesn't take criticism well. I'm like, okay, hell of a warning bell there, and you're letting this guy loose on the industry. But anyway, and said that yes, he kept changing the script, and I think he ended up with one that he kept changing with her, but then a real one that he was trying to play with his vision or something. I don't know what was going on, and she was concerned that this was the first time she'd learnt that he'd filmed at my house, because you're supposed to do OH&S, like safety induction, all stuff. And she's supposed to go to the location to visit as well. It's part of the assessment, to do everything properly.
What the hell?
And then she's like, I'm so sorry. Look, don't apologise to me. Apologise to the teenager who turned up for her first day on set and thinks this is normal.
Yeah.
And was yelled at. Disgusting, treated this guy. And then I got another email like a week later from the guy, and again, rather than just engage, I was forwarded to the dean with an FYI. So
it was another
angry one. I never heard from him again, but I'm like, why in the world would you let loose this guy? First of all, how the hell did he get... Okay, look, it's like in the corporate world, some people are really good at interviews. They interview really well, and you're like, wow, you walk away going far out, but they just crap at their job.
Yeah, right.
They're good at selling themselves, but nothing else. And maybe he got through, but like that sort of... When you talk about someone feeling unsafe and, oh, no worries, we'll just let him loose on the industry.
Yeah, right. Like, that's a good story.
Boom. That was my first bad student film. It to the point where I won't work with anyone from that university. I worked with two other school projects that turned out kind of okay. One, the sound was just horrible. It was atrocious, and then they tried to play with it in post to make it just basically a waste of my time. And then I was like, it's like they just accept anyone. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I got. Whether that's true or not, people could be queuing around the block to get in, but I'm like, it feels like they just accept anyone, so I just won't work with them.
Well, that's the thing. I had a similar experience with it was like a design and film school. I won't say which one, obviously, but years ago, and it seemed cool. Got on set, it was cool vibes, and then I watched the finished product, and it was like, what the hell? It just the color grading was different from scene to scene. The audio was shite and all that stuff. So now, like pretty much, I don't really work with like I afters is my go-to.
Yeah.
If I want to do a student film.
Well, the last one I did there were first year students, and that was fantastic. And that was during COVID. And that was the school that wrote the COVID regulations, which Australia adopted and then took overseas to say, look, we're working with COVID, and they became international, standards.
They're super professional, and I've done a couple crew jobs with them as well.
Okay.
And you can see then once you're a crew member as well how seriously they'll take it, and it's like they work with industry professionals because they're around the corner in Fox Studios, so
it's great, isn't it? I mean, I told the lecturer who visited the set, and I mean, it's complicated enough, right, with a student film, but also with COVID regulations. So like, it was doubly complicated, but we managed it. And I said to him, mate, this is, these guys, credit to them, they work so cohesively as a team, always communicating. I know exactly what I'm doing. This is better organised than most professional sets.
No, I was about to say, afters can,
These first-year kids, they just finished high school the year before.
And
they're telling me what to do and stuff, and I know exactly what's going on. Fantastic.
Yeah. Some of my worst set experiences have been mostly in theatre, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Because, I mean, you do get that one chance per performance.
Yes.
So it's kind of within that realm. But one that comes to the top of my head is I went forward and auditioned for the Book of Mormon when it came to Sydney. Oh, yeah. And that wasn't for one of the leads. It was for one of the ensemble members, one of the Mormons who wasn't a lead role. But this was years ago.
I saw that, by the way. It was really good. I enjoyed that. And I don't really like musicals.
It's an awesome musical. So this was years ago, and I was a lot younger. Mm-hmm. Like, I was a little bit fat. And I just, I went for the audition, and I'm walking through, standing in line, and I'm looking at all these guys like, what the hell? They're like mid-20s. I'm like, I don't know what I am. I'm like 18. Haven't got any facial hair. Got this weird... my hair was messy. Didn't look like a Mormon at all. And I'm just there
God.
like, oh my God. I don't know how I even got this. Anyway, went in the room and there was this giant table, like it was a massive room. It was at NIDA. They were doing the audition. Had to be like 15 people just staring back at me and then one pianist on the left. I walk in skitzing out already because I'm like, I don't look the part at all. No way.
That's horrible. Like it's bad enough, doing those open or those auditions anyway.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, and to top it all off, I give the pianist like one of the hardest pieces to play. So I'm there. I say hello. Only one person is talking to me from the table of 15. All the others are just staring, and I'm like, oh my God.
Lovely.
I will come back in 20 years, all right? I'll just wait a little longer. Anyway, needless to say, I didn't get it, but that's okay. I don't think I would have suited it, and I don't think I would have wanted it at that point.
You made the pianist work hard, which is something positive.
Yeah. But
I remember when I did The Odd Couple. Fantastic Neil Simon play, first theatre experience, coming back to acting. And I was still apprehensive with imposter syndrome. So we're talking about a theatre in a country town an hour and a half from Sydney with the good old Picton Theatre Club. And which was fine. I made it to every rehearsal, the rest of it. And then it turns out there's roughly 5 directors. So, turn left, turn right, walk forwards, walk backwards, say it faster, say it slower.
I think actually that's it. I worked with 2 directors once on a musical, and it's
theatre.
just
God.
You could see. So they separated it. One director would direct one scene. These scenes, and then another director would direct these scenes, and that's how they separated. They didn't just do it together. So then, when you watch the musical,
strange.
You could see the different visions.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Between each scene.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was one director, but formally, but I mean. There was one person who she really was trying to be the alpha male in all things acting with her vision.
Yeah,
She did a course, so, and the worst person possible to put in any position of authority. So I'm like, let's keep it this way. And then the next rehearsal, and we've got an assistant director. Of course, it was the worst person you could pick. But there just so happens that in and out are 3 others who are very... fine in giving their feedback, even if it's immediately after someone else who's said something completely different. It could be as literal as, I want you to walk forward and turn left in terms of blocking, and then the other one's like, actually walk forward and turn right, I think that's better. So I'm like, I'm not your plaything. No. I'm not your plaything. So anyway, I said, no more amateur theatre. Nah, big cross. But but look, it did what it did in terms of made me realise I still love acting. I still want to get on stage, and God knows if I still want to do it after that experience.
Amateur theatre can be good, though. A lot of amateur theatre can be good. Like, it's just, I guess it's difficult when you have 5 different directors.
Oh my God, they just wouldn't shut up. Anyway, we made it. So the biggest fail for me in a professional setting, the one that we talked about, episode 76, where in a professional setting. That's like, first of all, it was the poor communication. It was can you do it on this day? I'm like, sure. And then the day before, I'm like, guys, news, I'm hearing crickets, nothing. So I'm like, okay, fine. I went to another audition, and then I'm getting a message going, actually, we need you. Okay, all right, I can do it. What time? Told them I was available. And then they replied by the time I'd finished the audition going, actually, we don't think we need you, but we need you. I'm like, so we want you to be like on standby. So what that means is we'll pay you X, which was half of what they originally said, just to turn up and be ready.
Yep.
And if we use you, we'll give you the full rate. Now, there's so many things wrong with that scenario. I was just like, anyway, but I'm like, it's on the way home. It's fine. No worries. So long story short, I get there, I walk in. I said to the runner, what's going on? He's like, oh, I've been busy. But it's this big ad agency that do full service, from embedding their marketers in your company to come up with strategy, all the way through to buying the media and putting the TVC that they've produced. They've got in-house director, they've got in-house talent, blah, 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 for various things. And when we say that, it's like slashes, like the receptionist can also do the data wrangling or something, so it's kind of,
Yeah, right.
And it's for a bank, so decent money, right? They've got big big purses, but it was for their conference. So it was like piece to camera that people are doing in breakout rooms that people can watch that are there for their conference. So there's no usage agreement needed or any of that sort of stuff. So I'm like, okay, piece to camera, piece of cake, no worries. So I turn up and the guys, one guy's approached me, didn't introduce himself, just here's a page of copy. Can you memorize this in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm like, right. I said, do you want it word for word or can it be, just hit the key points sort of things? Like, no, word for word.
Paraphrase sort of thing.
Want it word for word.
Yeah,
You know, it's for a bank, it's for a financial institution. I'm thinking, okay, well, that means they are going to broadcast. You know, they've got to be careful, what sort of words they use in terms.
Yeah, very specific.
So there I am going through, walking up and down, pacing up and down. There I could see another one doing it, another actor who was being directed on set and then had left to learn lines again, then go back to set. I'm like, that's unusual. And so anyway, finally, 30 minutes later, then finally the director comes, introduces himself for the first time. I'm like, okay, great. And my first question, because I've only just memorized it, is can we break down to each question or are you going to shoot it all the way through? He's like, no, we're going to shoot it all the way through. And I've just gone, the look on my face, I was like, thinking in my head, this is going to take a few shots, right? It's going to take a fair few takes.
Yeah.
And he's gone, but we've got an auto cue. I'm just like, what the
remember this story.
What? And what's worse is if you've memorized it and then the words are scrolling at variable speeds because it changes because there's a person who's sitting on the laptop moving the auto cue. So it's not like we didn't notice there was an auto cue. Whoops, we accidentally told him. The guy who's sitting in the corner with his mates has just told me to memorize this. Now I memorized it. Now I'm going to be distracted because I'm trying to forget it and I'm reading it. But I'm just, anyway, I'm just like, just want to get the hell out of here as quick as possible. We finally get the first take done all the way through. I missed a sentence because the person using the auto cue had scrolled too quickly and they said, okay, that was good, blah, blah, it's great, because it's like, walk in, pick up the cards with the questions on it, read the questions out loud, and it's as though you've just heard them for the first time and then answer, obviously, using auto cue. So I'm like, all the blocking was fine. Everything is just reset for sound. Then the person auto cue, he missed a sentence. I'm like, well, it was scrolling a bit too quickly, but I'm sure, we can change the speed for the next time. Yeah, no dramas.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there and the only feedback was technical. So the director asked sound to remove, or hide the wire that was hanging down. So I'm standing still on Facebook Messenger chatting to someone, I can't remember now, and sound is trying to tape the cord and the camera needed to be reset as well. So the director's talking to camera. Sound is fixing my cord. I've got nothing to do, right? I don't have to memorize anything. I don't have to, I know my blocking. Everything was fine. All my notes were great.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there on the phone and the person who I noticed at the corner of my eye was on the auto cue just strolls up and then just reaches out, snatches the phone from my hand and pulls it up in the air. Like I've been using it in class and I'm 6 years old, and she, oh my God, she's caught me. I've just gone, excuse me? I'm like, what? And that moment when everyone on the set is listening, but no one's listening, they're all busy, but there's that quiet and it's like, I've just gone, excuse me? What the do you think? And she realised, she's made eye contact. I'm like, I didn't move. I'm just like, what the and she's like, I thought you might want me to take photos of you once. I'm like, just looked at her like she's
that was such a
photos. And I'm like,
IT
what?
Excuse.
I'm like, whatever. I think I actually said whatever. And she's still got my phone. I mean, imagine if she dropped it. Anyway, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So we go through. Then the director grabs me. Sounds okay. Mic's good to go. Camera's good to go. He wanted to talk to me about something. Meanwhile, she's flapping her arms around trying to work my phone. And then she comes in between the director and I and says, I can't work out how to do the photo. I just took the phone back. I said, I don't want you to take a photo. Just put the phone, in other words, just F off. Just go. Just leave me alone. I just wanted to get through this and get the hell out. So I've put the phone in my pocket. I'm like, this woman is nuts. These people are crazy. I've just got to, it took me 2 takes. Had it perfect. No worries. I couldn't, I think I said thank you, goodbye, and the mic was removed just as I was picking my bag up, and I hit the car so fast. And of course, they were so disorganized, they screwed up the pay as well.
Oh, yeah.
They paid me the standby rate. Then they had to set up another job to pay me and then I queried them, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's been so hectic. You know, some people have got paid, some people haven't been paid at all, some people have been paid twice." I'm just,
so that's not your problem. That is not your problem.
So I wrote that on this thread, and I tagged the production company. It was a private, Sydney actors, filmmakers group. Yeah. And so I tagged them. I said, "This is what happened when I was working for blah, blah, blah." And a week later, I got an instant message from the director of the company.
Oh, no.
"Max, I'm so sorry that was your experience. I was an actor too. I completely feel for your situation. This is unacceptable. Can you give me more details?" I said it was for this brand, for a bank, for a conference, and it was on this date. Glad to help. And you know what I did? I put the link into episode 76. And here's some more context for you.
Yeah. Some promo as well.
Episode 76.
Shove that in there.
And because I was looking back the other day actually, and I could see a spike at around that time of the episode downloads in Sydney. Like, it was just a bit of a random blip in my data.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a bit of a data nerd. I'm like, yeah. So that's been going around the office. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. He's like, "Thank you so much for the feedback. I hope the next time we have you on set, it'll be a much better experience." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there won't be a next time.
Because sometimes you complain and, and then that's right. You go, "Oh, we're not going to work there again." But then I thought, no, fuck it. I'm going to say who it is. I'm going to tag him. Yeah, it's up to them if they want to do something about it and be better.
Fair enough. You're not saying anything rude or unjust about them anyway. You're just stating a story that you had.
What makes it extra stingy though is the fact that it was the week after we did this whole thing on let's follow your instinct, and how to say no.
Yeah, I remember you telling this story back on episode 76. And you're like, "I should have followed my instinct. There was something weird going on."
If only I'd have actually listened to what we were saying 7 days before.
This is why you guys have to listen to Two Unemployed Actors.
So
pay attention.
Remember, and another big muck up on set, worst day, when a data wrangler. Remember, we were talking to Christian Van Vuren, episode 82. Yeah. And he said a data wrangler accidentally deleted the entire day's shooting. Yeah. Like 100K is just gone. Yeah. And they had to imagine.
God.
Imagine.
I had a very, very similar-ish experience. Actually, going back to it when I was a runner for an afters short film. First time I'd been a runner properly on set, and we were in a different location. It was about an hour away from afters. And I was sent to go collect some hard drives and bring them back so we could download the footage for that day. And there was this awful system going on where the people who were handing over the hard drives were just the security, and they had no idea I didn't know which ones I were getting, but they seemed to know or thought they knew. They gave me someone else's hard drives. I took them back, was driving around doing a bunch of other stuff, and then I get a call from Afters being like, "Hi, is this Sam?" I'm like, "Yes." And it's like, "This is whoever from Afters. I think you have taken the wrong hard drives. It belongs to another project." And no one on set when I dropped them off said anything. I don't know what was going on there. And I was like, "Oh, sorry. These were the ones I was handed. I asked for something specific, and I was handed these ones." And she's like, "Okay, well, just call them, and I need you to bring them back." So, and I was like, "Right now?" And she was like, "Yeah, you need to bring them back right now. Call them and make sure it hasn't been wiped yet. That's all their footage for their project."
Yeah, wow.
So I call, and I'm calling, and I asked them back on set, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we haven't wiped it yet." I was like, "Okay, don't touch it. Do not touch it."
Because imagine, like, you're not going to miss. They're not going to know on set, right? Because here's the data, hard drives. Yep, no dramas. But it's the people who have gone, "Wait a minute, where's my hard drive gone?
It was a very, very weird...
Where is it gone? I can't find it."
Yeah, it was a weird system. So apparently you meant to keep the same numbers throughout the whole... Because the hard drives were numbered the whole time. I wasn't explained this very well. The people handing it over obviously weren't explained to very well.
It's not the security guard's job to manage data,
just a massive...
in fairness.
Yeah.
So here's a few I've collected from various forums, or from one specific forum thread, right?
Yeah.
When your boss on a low-budget video shoot says, "Could I have you bring your car tomorrow?" Don't worry, nothing dangerous. Don't bring your car because it's something dangerous. Never let them use your car. Never let them use your house. You don't want to, especially if it's the low budget or it's the student film. Or something. No. Here's another guy who's gone on crew. Everyone's busy. They're running behind. He's gone to pick up the lens case. It was closed and the latches are down, but they weren't locked. So he's picked it up and out tumbled a $40,000 or more Canon EF prime lens. Lenses plural.
Jeez.
But they were okay. But I mean, that moment between the DP picking them up and going, "Oh, they actually survived," that'd be torture.
No, thanks.
Here's one from on a location shoot in North America on a shoot in the mountains. The truck came to empty the honey wagons, and after doing its thing, got stuck on a steep dirt incline. Every time the truck would back up and come sliding back down the hill, poop would volcano out the open port of the truck's tank.
What?
The smell... So it's gone to empty the portaloos, right? It's gone to empty the...
Oh, no.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Someone's got to do it. And it's trying to get up the steep hill and kept sliding backwards. And every time it came to a stop, it would slush out. And the smell would be unbearable, no doubt. But the incident was happening 30 yards from the set.
Shit.
Could you imagine that? Definitely. I love the last sentence. Definitely the crappiest day I've ever had. Yeah. Boom, boom. Shooting in the woods. No washrooms. No drinking water or sunscreen. And Crafty left all the food and stuff in a hot car, resulting in food poisoning.
Oh my God.
Could have been resolved with a budget and some brain cells. They had neither.
Jeez.
They definitely had neither. Here we go. The brother of the director was on set. Now, any sentence that starts with the brother of the director, it's not going to be good. The brother of the director was on set and asked to play a gangster in the film. While we're setting up lights, the brother was drinking. I'm guessing it's not
like
the
as
prop
an alcohol.
stuff. Yeah, correct. We had real and prop knives on set. The real knives had fluorescent gaffer tape over them. Okay. And we told him, in particular, because he's drinking, not to touch the knives on the table. Then he proceeded to tell us he's a professional, and to prove it, he glided the knife across the palm of his hand. And of course, it was the real one. So to no one's surprise, he sliced his hand open before saying oops and peeing his pants. The director decided to shoot his scenes last to get him to sober up. Of course, he didn't. And the shot scenes drunk with his hand bandaged up. Here's one for you, Sammy.
Yeah, here we go.
Got assaulted by an actor on a stunt 3 times. He decided to improvise and kick me in the ribs on 3 separate takes. He didn't like me because I was the line producer as well on the stunt guy, as well as the stunt guy, and I couldn't get him a call sheet because we were still shooting, so he decided to be an arsehole.
Oh my God! Well, actually, yeah. On that, if anyone remembers, I've spoken about. Well, I was slapped, physically actually slapped across the face multiple times on a short film.
And no prep, like you know what happens in the scene, but they've gone action, and then he's just gone.
Yeah, I mean it's a brilliant short film, but yeah, that moment was it got to a point where I actually said, okay, we've shot enough. You've got that freaking take. I got pretty angry. Yeah, never allow. You shouldn't actually be physically assaulted by other actors. It should be faked and sound effect. And if you do give permission, you don't use your full force.
Imagine you're doing 5 takes and 3 different camera setups. You're being hit 15 times. I mean, the stunts,
that's why you don't.
Stunt guys know how to move so they don't get hit, and they can get pretty close. As actors, we're only allowed to get like a foot, if that, towards someone when it comes to our fighting, because we're not stunties.
Yeah, so don't let any
someone.
Don't let any director tell you that. Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna do it for real. It's like,
just say,
you're not allowed to do that.
Here we go. Fog machine setting off the fire alarm mid-take twice on the same shoot.
Well, that's a bit dumb. Do your research.
Throw in that the idiot AD using the fire extinguisher in place of a fog machine. It's a bad idea.
What the hell?
Oh my god!
They're completely different.
The last shoot when I did, the last 50 worder I did actually had to use a fire extinguisher. One thing I learnt, these are the big fire extinguishers. They only last 45 seconds.
Yeah, right.
You don't get very long. That was an interesting learning. The other thing is we're now down to 5, and we've only got and there's like all these moving pieces in the take, and it came down to like there's like the last one, and I'm like, oh, don't fuck this up, Max.
Jeez,
I can't fuck that up. Here we go. Pyro stunt explosion in a car under uninsulated power lines, carrying at least 3,000 volts. So what happened was, as the flame shot up, power jumped from the lines down the flame because it's a conducting column of ionized gas.
Yeah.
Science lesson. And out the detonating lines through the special effects guy, who was okay, but only just.
Jeez.
Here's one to just reflect on being COVID times. Norovirus spreading like wildfire due to lack of facilities. There were 10 porta potties for about 100 crew, plus 300 extras, only emptied once a week, no running water, ran out of soap, no electricity either. Lunch was packaged in the morning and sat till the afternoon. And because it can only get worse, they accidentally fed everyone raw chicken.
How do you accidentally feed people raw chicken?
I don't know. Was booked for, you're thinking of cook in the car, was booked for 3 weeks, solution left after 2 days. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my God, there's so many. I like just trying to find.
There's so many. We'll have to do a full episode just on reading these.
Working on an indie film, the producer rented a location from an owner who demanded to be on site. Too bad he was drunk and carrying a loaded gun.
What the hell? Jesus.
Oh my God. Don't be the guy who actually drops something and breaks something.
Just use your imagination for the rest of that story.
Oh my God. Yeah. Here's a good one about bad talent. 2 of the 5 talent showed up on set 45 minutes late. It's always a great start.
Yeah.
Then demanded that they get a raise before they started. Once that was settled, no, they never got the raise. Then they demanded that their contract be reworded. Then, when finally got to shooting, they hadn't even memorized a single line.
What the
And
hell?
this is from the DP who was just witnessing it all go down in slow-mo, like a car crash. I'm like,
Jeez.
that is shocking. That's shocking. Okay, last one before we wrap up.
Last one.
I can't help it. It's a goodie.
Yeah.
Working on set, so just nice generic crew term. We exploded the building with a glass awning the night before. The next day, most of the awning was cracked but still up, and we're walking back and forth under it into the building. It didn't occur to anyone to keep people from walking under the broken glass until the whole thing actually fell down randomly in the middle of the workday.
Oh no.
Could you imagine being under that? Either pull the glass down or have people use a different entrance. The last sentence, I got life insurance that month.
Yeah, cool. Good idea.
Don't be that guy. Oh my God, it's horrible.
Jesus.
I know there's some shockers in there, and it's hard to feel like you feel, especially as an up and coming actor, like you're just so far from being in a position of power. It's really hard to sort of say, look, I don't feel safe, or
but you
I don't
do
want
have
to do
rights.
that. But say it, because it's no good apologizing after you lose your arm or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy, and I've certainly learnt to be so careful in my vetting with those student films and vetting projects, especially the ones that are below industry rates. It's like, no.
Definitely.
For so many reasons.
Yeah, agreed.
Shocking. You're listening to Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
Make sure you subscribe. Next week, you're going to hear an interview we do with Darren Gilshanen on working with comedy. And following that, we've got an interview with one of Australia's top talent agents in Mark Morrissey. He represents Chris Hemsworth, so lots of exciting tips on how to get an agent, what to do when you get one, and more. So make sure you subscribe, and you hear us next week. Bye.
See ya.
Two unemployed actors.